Okay, here's another way to approach this situation. What some people like to do is to always remember at least, you don't have to remember the whole unit circle. If you want to, we have people do this every year. Every year, some people will rewrite the entire unit circle on every test. And if you want, I will give you a blank unit circle. So if you want a blank unit circle for every test from now on, I'll give you a blank unit circle. If you want to draw the entire unit circle, that is fine with me. But I was going to show you a slight shortcut to it. As long as you know the first quadrant and you remember these rules we talked about earlier from one of the other videos, that on the unit circle, sine is equal to the y value, cosine is equal to the x value, tangent would be the y over x, and then the reciprocals. So let's look at what I'm talking about here. We still have to think about the quadrants though. The all seniors take calculus. We still have to think about the quadrants. So if I said sine is 7 pi over 6, you'd immediately know, okay, simplified fractions. As long as it's simplified, you know the reference is pi over 6. So you know the reference is pi over 6. So you'd say, okay, pi over 6 is right here. Sine is y. Sine is the y value. Sine is the y value at pi over 6. Sine is the y value. So 1/2. And I know this is all not true, but one of the things I always say is the only thing you really have to remember is that the sine of 30 is 1/2. If you remember sine of 30 is 1/2, you know that guy. And if you know that guy, the root 3 over 2 is always paired with it. Then the 60 degrees is flipped. You know that for the 45s, it's always the one where they're the same. And that only happens with root 2 over 2, and everything else follows from that. How about this? Oh yeah, 7 pi over 6. Uh-oh, we got to figure the quadrant. 7 pi over 6 is third quadrant. 7 pi over 6 is third quadrant. So you got to say, uh-oh, third quadrant, only tangent and its reciprocal are positive. So that means that guy gets a negative. Cosine 5 pi over 4. Well, whenever you see pi over 4, as long as it's a simplified fraction, you know the reference is going to be pi over 4. So we're here at pi over 4. So cosine is equal to the x value. So cosine is equal to the x value. So root 2 over 2. That's easy enough. Uh-oh. 5 pi over 4 is third quadrant. 5 pi over 4, third quadrant. We got to get good at those quadrants. Well, in the third quadrant, only tan and its reciprocal are positive. Therefore, everyone else is negative. Tangent of pi. Tangent of pi. Uh-oh. Pi is out here. Pi is that guy out there. -1, 0. Pi is out there. It's a quadrantal. It's not on the circle. So you're going, no. Well, tangent is y over x. Well, that's easy enough. Y over x. 0 over -1, 0 over -1, y over x. I just look at the point, 0 over -1. So that's 0. And it exists. It's not an undefined, because we're going to get lots of undefineds as we go through this stuff. Cosecant 135. So you're saying, 135. Oh, it ends in a 5. So it's going to have a reference of 45. And if you wanted to prove it to yourself, you could say, oh, second quadrant, 180 minus 135 definitely equals 45. Okay, let me see. A reference of 45. Well, the 45s are here. And uh-oh. So it's 1 over y. It's the reciprocal of the y value. So 2 over root 2. So we should know that that just comes from root 2. So the reciprocal of these 2 over root 2s is just plain root 2. Uh-oh, 135, you told me was second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, sine and its reciprocal are positive. Well, what do you know? Cosecant's the reciprocal of sine, so it stays positive. 300, uh-oh, 300. Well, let me see. It's definitely fourth quadrant. It's bigger than 270, less than 360. So its reference is 60. So the reference is 60. So I look at the 60s and say, secant is 1 over x. It's the reciprocal of x. And at the 60, so that would be the reciprocal of 1/2. So basically 1/1/2, the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. Reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. Reciprocal of the 1/2. 300's in the fourth quadrant. On the fourth quadrant, cosine and its reciprocal are positive. Well, how convenient. Secant's the reciprocal of cosine. So it stays positive. Cosecant pi/6. First of all, pi/6, first quadrant, the reference angle is pi/6, nothing to it. We can do that. So you just say, okay, oh, you know what? That's supposed to be cotangent. That's silly of me. Cotan of pi/6. Well, pi/6 right here. So cotan is x over y, this over this, √3/2 over 1/2. Okay, this is kind of a pain. So you have √3/2 times the reciprocal, which is 2/1, which just makes √3. So then you'd say, oh, no big deal, because first quadrant, everybody's positive. Anyway, that's another way to approach these. And we'll go through the table and set up the table on this also. But there are ways to do these problems without having to just flat out memorize the entire table.